Amicie Pelissie, the head of Catho Voice here in Paris. Hello, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us this morning. Now, what does Notre-Dame mean to France's Catholic community?
Notre-Dame means everything, really. It means history, it means faith and worship, and it means France, as all of the messages of hope and support from last night have showed the world. It means history because it's a cathedral which has been built on a place of worship which has been used since at least the 5th century. So it's one of the oldest places of worship in France. And then it's deeply associated with the Capetian monarchy and with King Louis IX, the holiest of our kings in the 13th century, who completed the construction works and also brought in the 1230s the crown of thorns, one of the holiest relics kept in the cathedral, after he literally bought it off from the Emperor of Constantinople. And then the relic was literally paraded through France for days, and then it was displayed in Notre-Dame, and that's still the tradition. During Holy Week, the relic is displayed for Catholics to worship and to pray. Now, this, of course, will not happen this year because of the sinister, but it's just a sign of how important this place is in terms of our history and our heritage. And also, I think Notre-Dame, for all of us, for Catholics and non-Catholics, means a place where the people come together, where we come together as a nation. Notre-Dame is the place where the French people come in times of joy and grief. This is where we have requiem masses after attacks, after planes have gone missing. I think it's been deeply perceived by everyone, not just as a symbol of tourism, not just as a symbol of medieval history, not just as a symbol of architecture, but also as a symbol of national unity, of peace. And at the beginning of Holy Week, it's becoming a symbol of, the hope in the resurrection.
You mentioned people praying there and masses being held there, because it is very important to point out, I think, that this isn't, like you said, a tourist site. I mean, it attracts some 13 million people a year. It's actually a functioning cathedral.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And that's its primary function. Notre-Dame is a place of worship. This is where Mass is being celebrated several times a day. It has its own archbishop, and it's also connected with, all sorts of very important religious gatherings. So during my student days, I remember attending the start of year student masses where you have thousands of students packed in the cathedral. They have to take all the chairs out because there's not enough room for all of us. So I think Notre-Dame, for many of us, means that a place where we come together as a community of Catholics, of Christians, of Parisians. And I think the building may be endangered right now, but it's the memory of those moments of community that remind you that the church is more than a building. The church is a community. And all those images and videos and photos of people praying yesterday just by the cathedral, like everywhere in Paris, showed just that.
Now, renovation works were underway when the fire started. Last year, the church was appealing for funds. Do you think that what's happened is perhaps a sign that the state isn't investing enough in monuments like this?
I think how difficult it is to convince anyone to invest and to give money for in culture or anything which has no direct profit or investment. So the particularity in France is that all our churches are state owned, so the state is legally responsible for their maintenance. From what I see everywhere else in the country, the state is doing a very good job at keeping our churches intact, and I think we're lucky to have this kind of deal. Now, Notre-Dame being Notre-Dame, it certainly needs more than was perhaps poured in already, but I think what we're seeing now, all the initiatives for money. I mean, this family who's just agreed to give 200 million euros for the restoration for the reconstruction of the building shows you that rebuilding Notre Dame is not just the job of the state; it's the job of the nation, because it's the church of the nation.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Amicie Pelissie. Thank you. Amicie Pelissie, the head of Catho